I tell you to use a fucking thing and you better fucking do it. No.
I need you to tell me
Yeah.
what... I'm putting this in memes.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me what the fuck Quakeva's plan here was.
Okay, I'm watching. Right. Okay. Okay.
No way. There's no way.
Okay.
What was the plan there?
I don't have an answer for that one. That's a play. See, I would say that's a play I would see in my bracket of 1K MMR, but I'm aware of the people who are in 1K MMR, and they wouldn't even know Lifestealer could do that. That's how bad they are. So, I don't know. I think it's like a mega stupid play. I don't know. It's like a fucking genius stupid play.
Like, here's the problem. It's Quakeva, so I'm like, surely there was some kind of plan or goal?
Oh, you know what? He's got a skull basher. He was trying for the first hit bash.
That's such a stupid idea. Like, listen, normally
That was yeah, that was
fine,
like
whatever.
Yeah, oh.
But when the risk is going home with the enemy,
he really should have just auto. You know what it was? I think he didn't know how long he had, and so instead of trying to get closer to do the auto attack, he casted the spell, which has a lower cast point than his auto attack.
well, and actually has the range too. Like,
so yeah, he was probably trying to fucking jump the gun and get the first hit bash, and then when he didn't get the first hit bash, he couldn't get out because immediately in that fraction of a second between him getting in, the teleport ended.
well, and like, unless you pop the creep, like,
yeah,
Lifestealer can't pop out immediately. It's on like a 1 second cooldown.
No, he can't pop out of heroes. Period. That's
just timed now.
It's timed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow, that was
only enemy heroes, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was yeah.
The entire summation of the gift. That's a bold move, Cotton.
That is a bold move, Cotton, and it didn't work out for him.
Not in the slightest.
So yeah, so when I was making the Monster Lemonade whiskey, I made a mistake. And
making it was the mistake.
Well, yes, but more. I used 2 cans of Monster instead of 1, not realizing how much fluid is inside 1 can of Monster.
How do you accidentally use 2 cans of Monster?
Well, I used 1 can of Monster, and I was like, oh, well, that's not a lot of Monster in there. I'll get a second can. And I poured the second can in, and I realized that I'm fucking blind, because actually that was a lot of liquid in there. So, it's 2 cans of Monster, about 250 of whiskey, and the rest is water and lemonade. Like 5 scoops of lemon powder.
Why add water?
Why add water?
Yes.
Because you need to make sure that it all dissolves into the solution.
Yeah, it was in part to water it down a bit because, I mean, 2 monsters is a lot of fuck, and I don't really want to fuck with that much.
No, you don't want to fuck with that much. You don't want to, like, randomly, like,
give yourself heart palpitations?
Yeah, well, I'm about to go drink it, so I don't know about. Well, I'll get back
a
to you
minute. I
about
wanna
those
be very
heart
clear.
palps.
There's nothing random about those heart palpitations. They are entirely
Sneaky following the Reaper. He's gonna fucking drink 7 bangs in one string.
Fight me, bitch!
Sneaky senses the Reaper, begins chugging Monster.
No, there was one day that I was on the road because of my job, and I drank like 6 sugar-free Monsters, and I was like, I am still falling asleep, but my heart feels like a fucking jackhammer now.
I see.
Truly a disciple
So-
of Kali.
I would like to air some grudgeables.
Okay, yeah. Small little tiny
are they like
digestibles.
Lunchables, or-
Yeah.
Yes. So there's 3 small grudgeables today. 2
Okay.
of them are technically they're the same flavor of grudgeable.
Yeah.
So the first is lying suppliers.
Oh, yep. That's pretty. Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
we placed an order for something
Yep.
August 29th. Okay. And we met. I know this vendor's a little unreliable, and so I call him up. I try to call him up. First full week of September, right?
Yep.
Can't get a hold of him. Can't get a
Yep.
hold of him. Can't get a hold of him. A couple days go by, and I'm like, boss, can you do me a favor and try to get a hold of X supplier? They're not picking up my phone calls. They're not answering my emails, right? Boss goes, yeah, sure. I'll give him a call. Boss gives him a call. Of course, he picks up for the boss right away, which, you know what? That's why we go to our boss for these things, right?
Yep. Yep.
The head of the department calling someone, that's a phone call that gets answered, right?
If you want to keep your fucking contract, it is.
Exactly, right? So,
Just the hey fucko, pick up.
yeah. So we go, hey supplier, is X thing on track, right?
Yeah. Normal.
Is the
Yeah.
vendor going to be able to meet our delivery date?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's fine. Okay, great. Try to get hold of him around the end of September. Can't get a hold of him. Whatever. Get a hold of him first week of October, right? Hey, are you going to be able to meet our delivery date of the 5th of October? Well, the factory's having some material delays. You'll get it the 19th. It's been
Bruh.
a month.
I'm sorry, the 19th?
Yeah.
They should be paying you for this order.
Yeah.
$100,000 order, by the way.
Yeah.
100.
What?
Jesus.
Well, it's one part of a
kinda fucked up.
$100,000 order.
The cost of
which
doing
the customer
business,
says ship
gentlemen.
complete.
Yeah, makes sense, yeah. I always love it when they tell you to ship it complete, and it's like, all right, well then don't bitch how long it takes.
Yeah. Most of our customers are pretty reasonable when they say ship complete. So, but that's not the end of it. So
Of course
today
not.
is the 17th.
Yeah.
So I call vendor up again. Vendor, do you have tracking number for this item? Well, the factory's hit a few snags. My face slamming through the wall.
Your fucking face is about to get a few snags on it. As I run it through your fucking factory line.
Say, okay.
Can you fly there? That's the real question.
It's local. It's local to me in Illinois.
Then tell them that you will personally show up and run the boss's face through a fucking factory line if the fucking shit isn't shipped.
Oh, that's tempting, and I might. But so I call them up, and I'm like, all right, listen, you need to give me someone that I can talk to at the factory, because I am going to get questions about this in my production meeting about what in the Sam hell is going on. Okay, hems, haws. I need that phone number. Okay, here's the phone number, and the person I'm going to talk to, you're going to talk to Amanda. I'm using Amanda because that's a completely generic name. Good luck finding Amanda number 480,000, right?
Ah, found her.
The power of
The power of
You
autism.
spotted.
I was gonna say.
Weaponized autism.
Localized psionic storm.
Anyway, so I call him up. Now, I've been in customer service. I
Sure.
know how much it sucks to get the angry phone call.
Oh
And
yeah.
I also know that that person's not going to do shit to help you if you immediately start out hostile, no matter how pissed off you might be or how justified that anger might be, right?
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
No, absolutely.
And so I get the person on the phone and I say, "Hi, my name is so and so from such and such a company. I was kind of expecting this phone call." In my head, goddamn right you were expecting this phone call. And so I ask him, first of all, when do you think this is going to be complete? We think we'll have it done the 24th. And then I have a sneaking suspicion. So I ask them, when did you get purchase order from my vendor? I got the purchase order October 3rd.
What?
Wow.
And I just say, well, that's a lot. I'm like, that's quite a delay. Can you forward me the email about that? And they forward me the email. And that's October 3rd, baby.
Time to talk to the vendor.
Yeah. So the good news is, we've
The
bought these
vendor will be
machines
finding
for-
a pipe bomb in their mail.
It might be. We've bought these
Free
machines for
delivery.
quite some time. We've
Next
bought these
day
machines for
shipping.
quite some time. So the actual I looked at the manufacturer. I'm like, can I just go direct with you, please? I know you don't normally deal with customers directly. You guys only deal through distributors. We buy like one of these maybe every 4 or 5 months. We don't need the technical support. We just need someone to make this for us. It's a label machine.
Right.
Like
No, I get you.
a really fancy label machine that's used to either label the shirts or bags directly.
Yeah, fun stuff.
And they're like, yeah, you know what? Normally we don't, but for you guys, you've been a customer for years. This is horse shit. Yes.
Nice. Fucking cut them out.
Yeah.
Good.
Just shoop. The other one, and by the way, the jokes about this practically write themselves, okay? So
Oh
we have
god.
this new fancy machine that we're rolling out. Now, this machine prints on just about everything imaginable because it's a heat transfer, right? Now, in order to get stuff to fit, you need film, you need ink, and you need powder to bond ink to the film, which you will then heat press onto things, right?
Sure.
Now, this powder is very, very light, as in it comes in a 25-kilo bag, and when you're pouring this stuff out, it's so light. You can get like 2 kilograms in a 1-gallon container. That's it.
Nice.
That light. So as you can imagine, it just kind of gets everywhere all the time. So people are like scraping this stuff up off the floor in the showroom, so we can scrape it in and reuse it because it's right, no big deal if it's on the floor, right? Now
Yeah.
the guy supplying this to me is from Florida.
Oh.
Would anyone
weird.
care to take a guess what color this powder is?
White.
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 No.
Would you
Oh,
like to guess how
interesting.
edgy everyone is getting because we don't have enough white powder in the building from our supplier in Florida?
100%.
Hmm.
I'm like, man, I am gonna get the feds are gonna show up because we're importing this white powder from China that everyone's edgy when we don't have a sufficient quantity in the building. So yeah,
The jokes do
that-
write themselves, yes.
yeah, like I said, the jokes write themselves, man. Especially because the guy we're getting it from is based in Florida. That supplier tells me that yeah, the stuff's on the way. To which I find out today he just sent my shipping manager the weights and dimensions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. No, I mean,
Why?
it's super normal. Back when I used to work my flooring job, we had a lot of people who came in expecting to deal with our very small, tiny designer, and then they stomp up to the front desk all angry, and they're like, oh, I want some help over here, and then, like, they fucking stand up and like, so, I have a minor gripe with the flooring I've received.
And my last grudgeable comes from eBay, baby. So, I pay someone for a model, right? And it says it'll be delivered the 16th. Now, I know they're building the model, right? I messaged them on October. I ordered it September 29th. I messaged them on October 2nd if there's anything more they need from me. I messaged them on October 4th for an update on how things are going. By the way, it said it would be delivered September 16th. Not finished, delivered.
Yeah.
Well, it gets to September 12th. I still don't have tracking information. I try to go to eBay to cancel it. eBay says you need to wait until the 16th.
That's fair.
So yesterday comes and goes. Lo and behold, I have not received the item.
Yep.
I file a refund request with eBay. I get a message today from the person saying, well, this is almost done.
Yeah, no, sorry, but that's not how that works.
Which, by the way, I need this by the first week of October. The person is in Britain.
Yeah, that's going to be a while.
Can't be certain I'm getting that.
No, you're not.
So, I'm sorry, sir.
See,
you are in fact not
it's indicative of the culture of this era where people are like, oh, well, you put the order in today, that means I can get to it next week. It's like, no, I put the order in today so you can be here by next week.
No, see, that would require them to actually do their jobs.
Yeah, I'm aware, and you know what? I'm kind of getting really sick of it at my job as well. It's the actually opposite, where we get people. So we tell all of our clients, you have to give us notice if you want to have a new employee's shit set up before they fucking show up. So that goes in one ear and out the fucking other. Because we get constant calls of the employees here today, when can we get a computer? Next week. Because we have to purchase one, and then we have to set it up, and then we have to schedule all of the user creation, because we only got like a fucking 30-person team, you know, for user creation, and we got like 500 plus clients.
Sneaky, they expect you to keep computers on hand, ready to go, that all you have to do is put in the settings and it takes maybe an hour.
We do
have...
No. See, we do have computers on hand for such a thing. For the people that paid for it when we gave them the option to.
Oh, no. They expect you to have it for them even if they don't pay for the option.
Yeah, we tell them to fuck off.
Good.
I actually love my team's account manager because she's got some spicy fucking quotes like, I'm 50 fucking 4. By the way, I'm not including fucking that one. This is what she said to me one day. I'm 50 fucking 4, and I didn't chase after a man for 54 years, and I'm not chasing after one now. If they want to leave, they can eat shit.
Woo!
And I'm like, damn, she got hands!
Those hands are rated E for everyone.
They are.
I always go to her whenever a client starts giving us shit. I'm like, hey, can you talk to them? And she's like, she always comes back like, they understand the situation now. I'm like, yeah, I bet they do.
They are aware. I have no need to worry about them anymore. I've dealt with them.
But yeah, no, it's like we give these people the fucking option. Hey, do you want us to have a couple computers on hand if you have any new employees? No, that costs extra money. Okay, fine. We have someone in here today. How fast can you get a computer to us? 4 days from now. If you want to expedite the shipping, which costs extra.
Bruh.
It's like fucking eat shit and die, bitches. And then my favorite part is when they always try to get around on us and get one over on us, you know? Really stick it to us. They went and bought their own computer, not that marked up price, which, yeah, we mark it up. Of course we fucking mark it up. Not that marked up price we send them. They got one over on us. Oh, wait. The computer uses Windows 10 Home. Oh, it's not working with any of our programs. Oh, there isn't enough RAM in it. Oh, it doesn't have enough hard disk space. Oh, it's really slow and the processor's bad. Oh, can you fix this?
How do they
Many
not
times I've had
fucking
to
know the
fix
specs?
A fucking Bluetooth.
What do you mean, how do they not know the specs? Are you really fucking serious, dude? The sort of person that is going to skimp out on paying $100 extra for us to set it up from start to finish? Do you really think they're gonna fucking look at a computer's specs and understand any of those words?
No, I knew it the minute it left my mouth, but by God.
They go out and they buy the cheapest fucking computers available. If they could buy a Chromebook, they would if they knew what Chromebooks were.
You know what? Any computer that your employees can't, for some reason, play Doom on is a computer that's good according to management.
Yeah, pretty much. Why don't the managers tell the workers to cope? I don't know which. Their manager or our manager?
Tell them to Steven mold as well.
But yeah, no, then they'll fucking call for the rest of the day. Hey, you said someone was gonna get on this, and I always get to the point where I'm like, either A, talk to the account manager, or B, talk to my team manager, because
Do you ever get your team manager calling you up and going, "What the fuck, dude"?
No, because I always throw the warhead face first at him.
As one should.
And see, the thing is that I spent time working for the federal government on a tip line.
Oh.
The amount of shit I have had to deal with and get used to dealing with is way up here. So they can be complaining, whining, wheeling and dealing me the entire fucking phone call, and when you go back and listen to it, you'll just be like, yes, sir, of course, sir, I understand, sir. Yes, we'll try and get on this, sir. Yeah, well, it takes some time. We have to find some scheduling, contact the people available to see what we can do. And it's all of that. They can't find fucking fault in anything I say or do. The new computer is slow, deal with it. I have said that very politely to quite a number of people. And it's always great because the primary calls in and they're like, well, how can we fix this? I'm like, well, the estimated cost of fixing this issue might be around $12,000 or $1,200. And they're like, I'll tell them to deal with it.
Oh.
It's like, yeah, that's what I fucking thought. You just spent $600 on this piece of shit, and you just realized that now you have to spend an extra $1,200 to actually get something that fucking works to the specs that you want it? Yeah, you fucked up, and you can't admit it. Not you, the new worker that says that to the manager, and the manager tells them to deal with it. Well, see, the thing is that it's never the manager's fault, right? So if the manager goes out and buys a really dog shit computer, it's not the manager's fault that none of their programs can run on it. It's our fault because we're IT.
Yep, that is how that works.
That's how that works.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how IT works.
And that's when you tell them you don't support third-party equipment.
Everyone's stupid, and you're the only smart one in the room, and this also applies to half of your coworkers.
God, yes.
But anyway, you know what else is a spirit uplifting?
Not reading
Not this
fanfiction.
show.
Pokemon! Oh, I forgot! Oh shit, it's this dude, the Pokemon fanfiction novels guy, where, the Gospel of Gold. Yeah! Yeah, I remember that dude.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not the fart guy.
Well, you say that, but I swear to fucking God, if I scroll down, I'm driving down to Louisiana, and it's gonna be a smoking crater the size of that would make New Orleans look like a fucking pimple.
Based.
Fire.
Gotta catch. Let's see what we got here. We got Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, The Rune in Return. Yeah, it's some sort of hyper original content sequel to an original content sequel. So it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. See, that's why I'm not a huge fan of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon stuff in the fanfiction section, because it's like 99% of the time, all, like, this is my original Pokemon Mystery Dungeon story. And it's like, I don't have any attachment to any of the characters you are currently portraying. I don't give a shit about the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon AU in general.
What do
And
you mean you don't like their super cool donut steel OCs?
Yeah, and that's the other part, is like half the OCs are either dog shit or fucking just complete blatant ripoffs. Which, that's one of the reasons why I stopped reading Ashes of the Past. Because it just became this giant fucking cancerous meme cluster. Where it was just like, every single fucking Pokemon turned into a goddamn meme. They were all using meme attacks and meme names. And it was just like, ugh.
The meme.
Isn't it funny, guys? I made a reference.
Guys, if I just keep quoting Metal Gear Rising memes, it'll be funny at one point, I swear to you.
I said the thing, why aren't you laughing?
The Cubone just had his hand glow blue and his eye is blue now. Guys, the Undertale theme's playing. And the Cubone's name is Sans.
Well, why is no one laughing?
It's like funny for literally 1 second when you see it on a fucking Twitter feed. You laugh for like 1 second and then you forget about it. That's how that should be. It's like a fucking... It's not even a joke. It's like a fucking... What would you call it?
A meme.
But it's not even a meme. Maybe it's just because it's a bad... Oh, fucking no. I'm not getting into this discourse. Fuck it. I'm not.
What was Ashes of the Past about? Okay, Ashes of the Past was this massive fucking story. It's like this super time travel story where Cyrus wins and resets the world, but Arceus was like, lol. No. And sends Ash back in time with all of his memories to go stop Cyrus from winning. But to do that, he needs to be strong enough to do it. And to do that, he needs to go back all the way to the beginning so he can learn from all of his mistakes and build up like a friendly army along the way to fight Cyrus. And so he ends up catching like all of the kajabillion Pokemon, and they learn all of the moves, and he's like a psychic and an aura master, and like he catches like half the legendaries, and he catches so many legendaries it becomes a meme that legendaries just walk up to him and capture themselves on his Pokeballs. And
That sounds familiar.
And then Professor Oak freaks out and everyone has a good laugh that Lugia just showed up in Professor Oak's lab.
So is the plot twist that he's always cursed to choke when it matters most and he still doesn't stop Cyrus?
No, the plot twist is he always wins and never loses because he lost in his first life, so he learned all of the lessons in his second life and never lost again.
Retarded.
Something tells me that this author's never actually watched Pokemon.
Well, no, see, the whole point of him going back in time was for him to learn all of his lessons and then instant win everything and be amazing and awesome.
The problem is he learns from his lessons and then forgets them.
Yeah, I'm aware.
We are aware.
I don't think time travel's fixing that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but the author hand waved and
yeah,
said
the
yes.
author hand waved it, and Ash is actually super. Well, see, this is actually the problem I have, right? Because the people who go Ash is actually super smart and really good and blah blah blah.
No, he's retarded. He's a fucking retarded 12-year-old.
But that's the problem, though. He's not. Because actually, he beat the Frontier Brains. Who are... So Ash Ketchum beat the Frontier Brains. The Frontier Brains was a system that was invented in Sinnoh?
I think.
I want to say Platinum.
I can remember.
Why does Nose sound so far away? It's because he's actually that far away. He actually has his mic set up on the opposite side of the room.
I was cleaning some stuff up. Fuck you.
Hoenn. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because there's Ruby Sapphire, and that was the same time they came out with Fire Red and Leaf Green, where they had the Orange Islands included. Yeah. Yeah, I'm remembering now. Yeah, and in Emerald, the Frontier Brain thing was a thing that was supposed to be the post endgame, along with Volcana. Yeah.
I mean,
Back in the days when they made free DLC. And back in the day, when the third Pokemon of that generation game came out, it was the culmination of everything they learned from releasing the first two versions, and everything combined with a whole new story, and just everything. And it was cool and fun and unique and creative. And Emerald was fucking amazing. I will fight anyone.
No, Emerald was the best one.
I don't feel like fighting you.
Yeah, God, I feel... You know what? My Emerald still works, and I play it occasionally.
I actually found my Emerald copy the other day.
your system clock didn't die?
No, that's what the wild part is, right?
Man, those batteries are so good.
I have a Fire Red lying around somewhere. I should see if that still works.
Yeah. But, yeah, so it is wild that Ash went around and beat the Frontier Brains, and at the time, the positioning was the Frontier Brains were the people that were so good at Pokemon training that they didn't compete in the International Elite Four tournaments because it wouldn't be fair.
Yeah.
And Ash beat them all. So actually, he's really competent and smart. It's just they have to make him retarded every single season.
Yep.
Which I don't really understand why. I think it would have actually... Like, we have fucking Dragon Ball Z, you know? Like, generations of people literally worship Dragon Ball Z. I don't understand why Ash Ketchum can't grow better.
Because
he
if
isn't
he
Goku
did,
and he wasn't like the icon for a generation of people.
that too.
Well, he is the icon for like a generation and a half, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, it's not a full generation, so it doesn't count.
You're right. It's a generation and a half.
No,
see,
it
needs to be a full one. It can't be a half.
What
No,
in
half
the
just
actual fuck did you post?
Let him cook. Let him cook.
You know, wait, I'm sorry. I was just fucking blinded by the shit fucking Phoenix is posting over here. Who said the cooking thing? What's going on now?
See, you're only allowed to have cultural relevance and grow farther than like your initial episode if you've managed to influence a generation of exactly one instead of a half. It has to be a full number. It can't be a decimal. It can't be a quarter, third, whatever.
Okay, you know what? That's fair, and that's probably why they split up Yu-Gi-Oh into multiple different seasons with multiple different characters, because, and same thing for Digimon as well, because...
I mean, the small issue with the Yu-Gi-Oh one is no one remembers who the fucking protagonist is other than Yugi and maybe Jaden.
Well, see, that's kind of my point.
No, I remember you say.
Who?
Okay.
You remembered 5D's boy? Card games on motorcycles?
5D's nuts.
Shut the fuck up.
Ha 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 ha! You're so funny.
I technically remember. Okay, do you want to know the only reason I remember that 5D exists? Because
Yeah.
5D had a movie, and someone just relentlessly mocked the shit out of it in an abridged series.
Yeah,
And
that
that was
That's
was,
fair. That's fair. No, I will say is I only know 5D existed because during college, my roommate and I were kind of sitting there on the couch. We're like, "What the fuck's on Netflix?" And we were scrolling through, and we saw Yu-Gi-Oh 5D. What the fuck is 5D? And
Oh,
then he
you
said
poor soul.
5D's nuts, and I laughed. And then we watched it, and we couldn't watch more than like half of the first episode because the bully scene we were just fucking dying at because the English dub was so fucking terrible.
Fuck it.
Yeah, that tracks.
5Ds was. So a lot of people say that's the beginning of the end for Yu-Gi-Oh, and I.
Beginning of the end. Fucking season 2 was beginning of the end.
No, when people say beginning of the end, I think they refer to how the card game started going crazy. Actually, the beginning of the end was whatever introduced pendulums. Fuck those things.
Huh?
Exactly.
But anyway, point being is that
Wait, hang on. What
yeah,
did the pendulum do?
it's a new card system in Yu-Gi-Oh. It's really dumb.
Well, it's an old card system, but it was new at the time, and it's what completely destroyed the fucking game and any semblance of balance it had.
Wait, wait. How bad was it that it completely destroyed the admittedly tiny, almost infinitesimal fragment of balance that Yu-Gi-Oh possesses, which is frantically held up by a banned list?
Basically allowing you to summon shit in literally one turn. You know the fucking meme of screw the rules, I have money? You can actually do that now.
Yeah, so Pendulum's introduced an interesting system of like if you have monsters between Pendulum Scale X and Pendulum Scale Y, and it's just 1 to 8, you can just shit monsters onto the field for free.
What?
What? How does that work?
Fuck you.
It doesn't. That's the fun.
I
It doesn't
see.
fucking make sense. It's retarded.
It was rough.
As you see, Yugi boy, I've completely destroyed your game by making it shit metal. Shit meta.
Shit metal. Yeah, I mean, I too would be completely destroyed if I shit metal.
Yugi boy, you fool, I've laced this card with laxatives.
Yugi boy, I have played the
used
card.
the Millennium Eye to take over your body, and now I'm going to make you shit yourself. What?
I like that we've got.
It took a lot of practice to get this far.
A Pegasus.
Yeah.
As well as an alternate universe in
Yeah.
which Yugi sustains himself by physically eating the cards.
Yes.
Huh?
You see, Yugi boy, you will lose this duel, because I will take control of your body and make you eat all the cards.
Oh, good. We've unlocked the third universe now. Great.
Yugi questioning how he's losing.
Yeah.
Pegasus is eating his cards.
I love how Nose is confused about the eating cards part, despite the one being to say he laced the card with laxatives.
Yeah, well.
I wanted to hear the full thing. I didn't fucking hear it. Just cut out.
Akiza? I don't fucking care who that is. Anyway, so we got what else we got here? We got Pokemon Journey in Johto. Ash and Jordan Ketchum. Okay.
Okay.
Have arrived in the Johto region with their friends Misty and Rock. Will Ash be able to win the Johto League with the help of a little sister and her friends? What, is the fucking sister gonna break some kneecaps?
Oh boy.
I really hope so.
Wait, is the sister Railgun? Is she just a Pokemon?
No, it's who the fuck names their little daughter Jordan? What the fuck?
A terrible person. Look,
cousin.
I'm just gonna say,
I've seen a couple Southern gals with that name.
All right.
And it's usually,
I'm just saying, hear me out. A certain scientific Pokemon. Go, Railgun, I choose you. That's a person.
Oh no.
Bzap. Or will he
Railgun
do it
used
all on his
Railgun.
own? Or will he do it all on his own and be left behind in the dust by Gary? Wait, what the fuck? Wait, what kind of fucking positioning is this? Will Ash be able to win the Johto League with his sister, with help from his little sister, or will he try to do it on his own and get beat by Gary Oak? What? So his options are have his little sister cheat for him, or he gets beat by Gary Oak. Okay.
Like, I feel like Gary Oak would never let him live that down.
No.
I mean, Gary Oak would have to do it from a wheelchair.
Yeah.
She's coming for them kneecaps.
Say goodbye to your Nico knees.
Nico knee break. Join Ash, Jordan, Miko, and Pikachu in the Johto region as they capture new Pokemon and make friends along the way. Miko, for anyone aware, is Railu. Of course, Jordan's starter Pokemon, because she has to be even more special than Ash.
Can we? You know what? What
Yeah.
is Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D's Nuts crossover with? It can't be worse than this.
Possibly. We'll see. So this is obviously, in case anyone was unaware, by a female author having a power trip.
Yeah, no, we were aware.
A whopping 10 reviews and 19 favorites.
Interesting.
How many
Have
words?
you considered not?
Have you considered perishing, author?
This is a very fascinating guest review.
Oh no.
No deal.
Alright, so we're going to go to Chapter 10. Chapter
Okay,
10
we're
is
jumping
a...
straight in.
Yeah, Chapter 10 is a story update, dear readers. Also, what the
Dear
fuck?
readers, fuck you.
Chapter 1 has 13 chapters. If I go to Chapter 10... If I go to Chapter 10... It turns into the only chapter.
What?
What? What?
None
I
yet.
think FFN is having problems right now.
Yeah, I think FFN might be drunk.
That's nothing unusual.
Okay, so anyway, what they say is, hey everyone, I need you guys to know that as of right now, I won't be able to update this fanfic. The USB cord to my phone has finally died, and I don't feel comfortable using free online websites to finish this story. So until I can get a new USB cord for my cell phone, be patient and don't rush me for an update.
What in the fuck did I just hear?
What?
Like, what the fuck?
The author making excuses for not being able to write.
Yeah, that's great. No, what does that mean? Why do they need a USB cord? Why are they making it out to be like a major effort? Literally go on Amazon, buy one for $3, it'll be at your house tomorrow.
I assume.
Shit, man, I could do you one better. Walk to your local CVS or nearest gas station.
Yeah, I'm assuming they're a child, but...
Okay, ask mom to go to the nearest gas station.
Yeah, that's very true,
Like,
yeah.
you don't even. Just inside. Mom, right? Oh, kids, we're stopping for gas. Mom, can I get a new USB cord? Mine broke. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not really... It's not like your computer exploded and you have to go order a new one and it's gonna be here in a week, but then it's gonna get delayed for 3 months and then you have to buy another one, but then the second one arrived at the same time as the first one and you have to go through the return process. Like...
No, it's not one of those.
It's a fucking USB cord.
stop
What
thinking
does the
about it.
free website have to do with it? Fanfiction.net's a free web.
Yeah.
And thus, we see Sneaky finally breaking down.
And thus, Sneaky succumbed to the apoplectic rage.
What does it mean?
Pandemic
Sneaky,
Spelligetti.
I'm going to attempt to think like my sibling and put myself in the mind of the idiots.
Oh, well, that's gonna lose you 12, like 20 IQ points.
Oh.
Only
Love
20.
your brother sometimes as much as he gets shot.
Max, okay, look,
He
I
deserves
haven't
it.
told the show some of the stupid things. Max, you
He
have
deserves
received
it.
the full brunt of his decision making.
Oh, I know.
He deserves
know.
it. Anyway,
You can't feel bad about him when it's the truth.
look, I know Gorilla's more.
I can feel bad about it.
No.
I just recognize that it's true.
Anyway, okay, so here's my thought process.
Yeah.
This is some kind of person that, right, they only have a cell phone. They only want to write when they're not in the house. Like, they're like, I can only write on my phone because I can't get distracted by stuff, right?
Or
Leaving
alternatively, they
aside
don't
the-
want someone to see it.
Also that.
No, I don't think embarrassment's the issue here.
You know what? Either way, point is, for some reason, they can only write on their phone. Now,
Right.
here's the problem. I don't know what program they're using on their phone. Are they using Google Drive and they're just stupid?
Yeah,
Does their
that's
school,
the
no, here's the thing.
yeah.
Does their school pay for Microsoft Word and they have Word on their phone? Are they typing this in a fucking notepad? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. But so my guess is that it's probably like Word or something, because they're physically transferring this document and then posting that document to fanfiction.net, which, helps explain some of this whack-ass formatting.
Do they have asterisks in it?
Do they?
Like, is the
Oh
formatting
wait, no, the
riddled with
formatting's actually
asterisks
perfectly
and
fine
shit?
for once.
Yeah, the
You know what? I stand
formatting's
corrected.
not. No. Okay, no, that's just their opening dipshittery.
Okay.
Okay, their formatting's not terrible.
It looks like it was done.
It's
by
pretty fucking
someone who
bad.
has a formulaic understanding, but it's not.
And it's
there's no
also
weird-
only dialogue.
Yeah, there's no weird artifacts.
Yeah. So I will say here though, attention all readers, I'm going on record to say that I'm working hard on the Johto region of this story, but I've only seen clips of it from online. Oh.
Alright, so author, I request that you go to the wall for a minute.
Cursed.
I have taken age damage.
Never mind, author, please continue giving him age damage.
I am aware that Ash doesn't have a sibling, but in all of my Pokemon stories, Ash will have a sibling named Jordan, and she will follow him everywhere. And will even do the banned episodes not aired in the United States. I don't want to leave those episodes out.
Okay, but why though?
What?
Okay, but why though?
Also, yeah, they're literally the entire story is just back and forth dialogue. That is something else. Anyway, so the reason why I wanted to read chapter 10 is because of this guest review right here. Also, yeah, fuck Zoomers. This guest review right here is special. Chapter 10. Maybe it's for the best you're stressed out from all of those idiots asking you to do the movies when you said you won't so many times. Perhaps a break will help you. Chapter 9. Can't you guys take a hint and knock it off? I want to see these stories, and you're just stressing Water Girl out. Just let Water Girl do, and hopefully you'll be okay. So, I want you to keep in mind this guest reviewer right here when I read through the rest of all 10 of the reviews she's received. So we've already read through 8 of them. Glaceon says, aren't you sad Ash isn't in Pokemon anymore? Aren't you sad Ash isn't in Pokemon anymore? Yes, NG said, is the spell of unknown gonna be in story? Question mark. Alpha Godzilla says, my favorite moment was when Meowth reacted to Snubble. Guest reviewer said, sorry, hope you get better. Guest reviewer said, do you think you'll do the new Pokemon Horizon show in the future? We have Mr. Numberman showing up in the review section saying 399. And also Alpha Godzilla chimes in at chapter 1 saying, you know the Johto seasons are available on Prime. So knowing what all of the reviews this person has ever received now say, what the fuck is Guest from 10 and 9 talking about? All of these people saying the movies? Who? No one did. Can you guys stop bothering her? Where?
You can delete anonymous reviews if you've got it set to it, so she may have been getting hit with a bunch of those and then deleted them all, except left the quote-unquote positive ones behind, and thus you get that.
Well, considering the fact that she has 10 reviews and 19 favorites and only 13 follows, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's incredibly unlikely she was review brigaded by a shit ton of guest reviewers.
Yeah.
No, I agree, but it is possible. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense for this person to have put that there.
Now, you might be saying, but wait, Sneaky, what about their other stories? Maybe she's being review bombed in her other stories. Pokemon Journey in Alola, 279,000 words, 55 chapters.
You have to be fucking kidding me.
Was that you?
Yeah, I'm fucking banging my table, bro. Holy fuck.
55 chapters, 2 reviews, 17 follows.
Fucking 2.
That has to be the worst.
Do you know why, too? They uploaded all 55 chapters between September 21st and September 27th.
Oh no, don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Rip feed. Dear Lord, why don't people understand this? If you have a bunch of stuff written out, then space it.
Yeah, you have to drag that shit out.
I only own the OC, so this is on Pokemon Alola. I don't own Pokemon, I own the OC. Actually, you don't own the OC because it's taking place in the world of Pokemon, but anyway. To anyone that has an issue with the order I'm writing the regions in, stop complaining. It's getting super really annoying. I'm working on what I have. Don't rush me, Kay.
Maybe it's on a Discord? Yeah, I mean, if the author's leaving author's notes with shit in here talking about the shit that obviously didn't happen on FFN, then the only reasonable alternative is that it happened somewhere else.
That's true, yeah.
On a Discord or AO3. Or,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got the top tier review here from Molly Fisher. What happened to the rest of the story?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it is, Journey in Kalos, on hiatus until further notice. 14 chapters, 75k words. 20 follows.
Oh.
It's like, look, okay. I realize this author will never see it, but I gotta lay it out here. Oh, we also got another one, A Journey in Galar, right? So, the reason why people will comment on stories like Harry Potter, Pokemon, you know, stories like that, Mass Effect, right? Where you have the 3 games that separate the time periods, right? The reason why people comment on such stories, where you have an original character interacting with the cast and assumedly growing stronger, becoming better friends with them, etc., etc., you know, the usual stuff that happens in a story. People get angry and irritated and disinterested in your story if you start telling all parts of the story at the same time. It would be the equivalent of, you know, J.K. Rowling releasing all 8 books of Harry Potter, 1 chapter at a time, at the same time. We're not connected to your character anymore. We're not connected to their growth. We don't understand why they have new team members, etc., right? So, you know, if they learn a lesson in chapter 20 of your Johto story, and then you have them make the same mistake in chapter 13 of your Kalos story, which by all merits should be taking place after your Johto story, then everyone's going to be like, well, why is she making the same mistake? And the answer why she's making the same mistake is because you didn't keep your timeline straight, and you forgot you already had that event happen in one of your other stories, and now you're crossing the streams. And that's why you don't write parallel stories unless they're for separate things. You don't write a parallel story featuring the same character in the same setting on a different section of the timeline. Because that also nulls and voids everything we could learn about the character in the earlier stories. Like, why would we care what happens in Mass Effect 2 or 1 if Mass Effect 3 was the first game that came out? You know?
Ugh.
I mean, do we have an answer? No.
Well, no, the answer is we wouldn't. The answer is no one would. No one would watch Avengers Endgame and then be like, all right, well, now that I've watched the end of Avengers, I'm going to start from Iron Man 1. Like, actually, they do that in a couple of shit. So that's a bad example. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch I'm going to watch Avengers Endgame first, then Iron Man 3, then the first Avengers movie, then Winter Soldier.
Make sure you wrap it up with Angstrom Lee's Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, exactly, right. And it's just like, you know, yeah, the final movie you watch is The Incredible Hulk, right? Yeah.
Not even the good one.
Yeah, the bad one.
With
Yeah.
the stupid dogs.
Yeah. But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you do shit out of order, we don't care about the characters anymore. And we especially don't care about the characters anymore if we watch them all fucking die and finish their hero's journey by the end of the first thing we see. Sure, maybe I'll be interested mildly, not overly. You know, the prequels to Star Wars didn't pan out so good. But maybe I would be interested mildly in seeing, like, a movie of, you know, I don't know, Thor's origin story, right? Thor before he became Thor, the Asgardian hero of Midgard, right?
Or when he was with Loki and Odin fighting that war against the
Right, yeah.
giants,
Like
would actually be a great movie.
maybe that would be cool and interesting. Like,
Not at this point.
yeah, but not at this point. But it's like, maybe if when Thor first came out, if they followed that up with a prequel, I would be like, oh, okay, I guess.
Probably would have been better received than the sequel.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Feel bad for that sequel. It's got some good moments.
But it's just any sort of pacing, like Metal Gear Solid 5 got away with it because they didn't. They hid a lot of stuff from you, and it was almost near impossible for you to piece together the story at all until they reintroduced the clues in on purpose. And that's how you still ended up playing a sequel to a prequel that a lot of people didn't know about, and you still sort of kind of slammed face first into the Metal Gear story, but still was interested in the story, and you still now want to go back and play the first games. Maybe. If you're
Apparently
a big fan.
they've re-released all those remastered
Which they
on
remastered them all, yeah. But it's like...
Well, they did that back in the PS3 era.
But
the big news was it's getting updated to modern.
Yeah,
right.
these are
But
newly updated
it
versions.
works because the main character of 5 isn't the same main character as the first ones. In fact, the main character 5 is in, the bad guy of one of the earlier ones.
Wait,
And,
is he?
yeah.
Yes, he is.
I believe there was either 2 or 3, right?
I think it was legitimately the first one.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, you actually kill Big Boss in the first one, and the big reveal in 5 is that the big boss you kill actually isn't Big Boss, and that's why there's a second Big Boss in 4 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's in 4 because Big Boss shows up. It's Metal Gear Solid 1 or Metal Gear 1. You kill Big Boss, find out it wasn't him. 2 was with Raiden.
Right.
3 was Big Boss's origin story, and then 4 was a wrap up to the Snake that we know, and a wrap up to Big Boss and a couple of other loose ends.
And then 5 was the origin story of the Big Boss you killed in 1.
Yes. Pretty well done.
Like for being absolutely botched chronology.
Cooking.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. I wish they let him finish. Fucking look. Okay. Metal Gear Solid Survive wasn't bad. It was poorly timed, poorly executed, but it wasn't
And it wasn't
bad.
what we wanted.
It also wasn't what everyone wanted. Yes, that's true. But I had fun.
There was supposed to be an entire other section to MGSV, and it was, I think it was Eli in the jungle chasing down that Metal Gear.
Yeah, there was a lot.
We have access
content.
We have access to like beta cutscenes, so to speak. A lot of stuff was actually kind of storyboard.
I know there's a lot of artwork.
CG. Yeah, it was a lot of artwork of, I think maybe 10 seconds of the cutscene got like the alpha treatment. That was about it. And it would have gone a little bit more into the origins of
Liquid Snake.
Well, Liquid and Gas Mask Boy.
Oh yeah, Psycho Mantis. Yeah.
And now because Kojima is gone, there will never be another true Metal Gear.
Yep, effectively.
No, there will not.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Metal Gear Solid.
To be fair, kind of got the feeling that like he was ready for it to be done with 4.
Oh, probably.
And then he had to make another one.
No, I feel like he really. I think he wanted 5 to be the capstone, because
Yeah, he liked
five is a capstone to the entire series because it literally just tries to wrap up.
5 was literally full circle. Like it literally was the full circle. It was the extra effects. It was the, increased
yeah.
gameplay mechanics because of technology increases.
No, I say it felt like he wanted 4 to be the final one because that was a massive wrap up to several
Right.
threads.
Right.
Then they're like, "Hey, make 5," and he's like, "All right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right."
Yeah. That's
And
fair.
they
Yeah.
didn't want him to
Doing
do
it
it
right
right.
took $1 billion.
Okay. Conversely, I think it actually did make that money back.
Yeah. No.
Yes.
Fair enough. Like, let's look at the sales records.
Oh no, I think it did make his money back. But the problem is, regardless of how much money was right, there comes a point when you are having a cash issue, and you're like, look, we have to put this out because we need to make money.
Okay, then don't tell him it's the last thing when you know how insane this man is.
Oh,
was on
holy
them.
shit.
That was on them, yeah. But
Holy shit, what, Sneaky?
Metal Gear Solid 5. Metal Gear's franchise reaches 58 million in sales.
that's a franchise.
Yeah, I know.
That's still impressive for a franchise.
Still really fucking impressive, dude.
I'm not saying it's not impressive. I'm just saying, like, let's be clear. That does not salvage the nonsense they pulled. That Kojima pulled.
The nonsense that Kojima pulled, what did he pull?
He went really above and beyond with the expenses he put into.
Hilariously over budget.
Yeah.
Like that's why that's why you get to the end of 5 and it's like, well, geez, this feels fucking incomplete, because it is. They literally cut him off halfway through development, and they were like, ship whatever the goddamn fuck you have.
So I think part of the issue was I feel like I saw a thing where they told him, "Here's a blank check," and they didn't think he would.
They did tell him no. They did tell him blank check initially, and then they're like, okay, well, when we said blank check, we did not mean.
We didn't mean Hollywood budget. What are you doing?
Now, to be fair though, apparently day one Metal Gear Solid 5 made $180 million.
I'm not saying it didn't make piles of money. I'm just saying, like.
But what did they spend? I don't think it was $1 billion, but it was an absurd number for a video game. Especially for a Japanese video game. I mean, technically you can play MGS1 after MGS2 if you really wanted. Those games are interesting in that they're kind of like sort of secluded from each other while still being connected.
Yeah, I would say MGS2 really doesn't have a lot to do with 1.
They stay pretty well, like, the word is escaping me, but they can each stand up on their own merits, and you can play them probably any order you
Metal Gear Solid 5 in its opening year sold 3 million units. Game development budget was around $80 million.
Oh. Wait, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
they made that back in 24 hours.
They made it back in 12 hours.
No, you know what? You could fuck off then. They absolutely could have let it keep cooking.
Yeah, but then he would spend another 80 million.
And I just want to be clear that
he still made that 160 million back,
but
with 20 profit. That's not including the sales
80
of the
million,
next
right?
month.
There comes a point when you've spent $80 million of the company's money. They have to release something because they don't have any more cash and they can't borrow more.
Right, and you're not wrong. However, Konami, so.
Yeah, no, Konami absolutely was could have pulled that money in from their TCG and pachinko sales. A reminder, by the way, Metal Gear Solid 3 had all of its cutscenes remastered for the pachinko machine, because fuck the gamers.
Yeah. Konami just has a hard-on for not pandering to their fan base.
Oh, I've noticed.
Yeah.
But okay, so between 2015 and 2018, sales went from 50 million total for the entire franchise to 58 million total for the entire franchise. So I would say, at a rough estimate, if 3 million of those bare minimum came from the first year of Metal Gear Solid 5's release, I would estimate that maybe another 4 million came in the next 3 years
You know what I would
from Metal
really
Gear
like them
Solid
to do?
5.
I would have really liked them to release, like if they were that hard up, I would have been like, if I was Kojima, I'd be like, put it out in early access. Put it out in early access for $60. See what happens.
No, not even that. Just literally okay. So yeah, the first 3 acts, they're gonna go up. It's gonna tell the whole story. That's what it's gonna do, and then we'll sell chapter 1, which is it's gonna be Metal Gear Solid 5, chapter 1, and then we're gonna sell chapter 2, and then chapter 3, and these are gonna be
Yeah,
like
just release it
so
multi-disc.
they're gonna do what Final Fantasy VII Remake is doing.
Yes.
yes.
Which, I'll be honest, they did I didn't think they could pull it off with 1. They did a great job of making 1 a complete ass game.
Right, no, but that's my
Yes.
point though, right? Is like gamers will pay for a full ass game if it's a full ass game. If you're gonna come to me and be like, all right, so we want you to pay $60, the game's not complete. It's like, okay, but am I gonna be getting like a full game out of it? Yeah, but it's gonna be like part 1 of 2 for the story of the game. It's like, all right, yeah, I'll pay you $120 at the end. That's fine with me. As long as I'm actually getting the full fucking story and a full fucking game for the $60 I'm paying, me and a shitload of other people are completely fine with that.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid fans are absolutely crazy enough to been like, yo, so there's a sequel to this, right? There's a part 2 based off of this really cool cutscene you gave us, yeah? Honestly, I think if Konami had been smart, which as someone who has been in their sphere for a while and finally got out like 4 years ago,
They can't
they're
be.
not smart.
They physically can't be
all.
smart.
They would have been like, all right, let's see the sales before we decide to fire him for throwing money down the toilet.
Right, exactly. That's the dumbest part. They ended up firing him and letting him go.
And then he went and made Death Stranding, which is its own thing now.
Death Stranding is its own fucking weird ass pile of shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, it makes money, so I'm pretty sure they're mad about the fact that they lost him too. Again.
I think he's
will
making
get
something
around to
new.
playing that game. Eventually.
What, Max?
I will get around to Death Stranding eventually. I just don't know.
I tried to play it. I tried. It's not.
Game?
Okay, wow. Death Stranding, as of 2021, sold 5 million copies.
I was gonna say, I'm sure Death Stranding made money. That doesn't mean it's not a weird ass pile of shit masquerading as a
I
video
didn't
game.
like it.
I
I tried so hard to like that game.
I kind of enjoy walking sims in a limited degree, so that's part of why I think I might enjoy it when I get to it.
No, my issue was that the game penalized me for going too slow, but penalized me for going too fast.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, and then it also penalized me for not seeing the invisible creatures, because that one speck of dust moved, and obviously that should be a clear sign the creature's there. It's like,
Well,
what?
you didn't see like a single thing of dust moving?
Yeah, no. And like,
Sneaky, it sounds like you should get your eyes checked.
there's literally a fucking speedrunning trick for Death Stranding where you put your graphics down to minimum so it only animates the creatures. So you don't even need to do any of the mechanics.
That is very odd and specific.
Yeah, because no grass spawns, the mud puddles don't like animate anymore. Like nothing animates besides the creatures when they walk on the mud now. And so because there's no grass and other foliage now, you can just blatantly see everything easily.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
Can't do that on console.
And it's just like, bruh, so fucking dumb. Let's see. Death Stranding reaches 10 million players as of 2022. Sold 5 million copies. 6 million copies was the director's cut. Metal Gear Solid 1 sold 7 million. 2 sold 7 million. Solid 4 sold 6 million. Solid 3 sold 4 million. Peace Walker sold 2 million.
Yeah.
Kojima sold.
Oh. Sneaky?
Metal Gear Solid 5 sold over 10 million copies. 6 million copies of which were sold by the end of 2015. Konami stopped reporting standalone sales numbers in 2016.
That sounds like they were a little bit bitter.
They were very bitter because of what I'm about to read. If you look at the lifetime sales numbers, 41.2 million in 2015 before Metal Gear Solid 5 released. And by the end of 2022, it was 59.3 million, which is most likely a majority of Metal Gear Solid 5, which means that Metal Gear Solid 5 sold an estimated amount of 17 million copies.
Yeah, they did Kojima dirty.
They were fucking butthurt. Holy shit.
So one of the best follow-up tweets of him being fired was, I think it was Norman Reedus got him a mug that said Konami tears on it.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you fire your biggest moneymaker because he spent too much money? It's like, okay, so his budget was $80 million. If he sold 17 million copies, so
He made
yeah,
all that back and then some.
17 million, 123 times $60 on average. Yeah, that's fucking Christ. Okay, I have to do math
Well, no,
now.
hang on a second, right? Because like, what percentage of that was digital sales, right? Because Steam takes 40% off the top.
30%, and it's even smaller
the 30% for the bigger devs. Yeah.
No, it's 30%, and then 15% for the bigger devs.
All right, I was misinformed, but yeah, still 15%. So that does take off the top.
So that's $1 billion. Unironically, $1 billion in total net income. And then the cost to produce and ship is about $5 per physical copy. So that comes out to roughly, if 6 million copies were physical, and then to about, and basically they were sold in the stores, and the stores take about $23. So of that 6 million copies sold, effectively Konami only made gross profit from 3 million of those copies. And if the rest was digital, PSN sales, Xbox Live sales, and Steam sales, which all roughly take about the same amount of cut percentage from it. So let's do 15% of 0.15 times 17 million. So roughly 2.5 billion of the 17 million copies would not count as well. So we're looking at roughly 5 million of the copies not counting in terms of gross profit because of having to pay the people to sell your game. So that comes out to 12 million copies of pure profit. times $60,
It's still a very large chunk of change.
and then minus 80 million. Zero. All right, that comes out to a mere $640 million of gross profit. Untaxed,
Again,
of course.
I'm not saying it's not about. It absolutely made a pile of money. The problem is, right? That's $80 million when they're not making other money for that. When they're paying overhead on all those employees, when they're paying overhead on
But they're
all
not,
their
though.
expenses.
But Konami isn't a single issue game company.
I know Konami's
They have
not a single issue game, but you have some. Yes, I know. You hate the number crunchers and the budget people. But when you look at something that's cost you $80 million and you have nothing to show for it at that point except an incomplete game, and the guy is saying, I want another 80.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
so theoretically, if Konami gives him the benefit of the doubt equal to the profit he brings in on average from his game sales, so that'd be 60. I know, I'm saying if they did. So that'd be $60 times an average game sale of 7 million for that series. Still comes out to 42. Is 420 million. So again, if you cut that in half to estimate the amount of taxes they would have to pay and the expenses of shipping and the expenses of stocking the physical discs, if you cut that in half, that's still, at the end of the day, $2,100 million. Sorry, $210 million.
But game counters don't think like that.
I'm aware. That's what I'm saying, though, is my counterpoint to Atin. Atin is saying he's asking for $160 million. That's too much. He makes them $50 million more than that at worst estimate. That's a lot of fucking money. That's enough money to make another game that isn't Kojima.
Yeah. And I want to be clear. I agree with all of you. I'm just saying, from someone whose job
is to not understand anything, yes, I agree. That's why I hate bean counters, Atin. Because we just did the fucking basic math here of an average amount of money. If the game did only average with the audience that it averagely does is, they have 4 games to use as an example, and they all averaged out around 6 to 7 million copies sold. And so if we're estimating around 7 million copies are going to be sold with the 5th one, which why would it be? But estimated 7 million copies would be sold with the 5th one. His big fucking capstone. They made a big fucking deal about it. They would still make massive profit over whatever they sold. Even if he asked for double the budget that they gave him of $80 million. There is no fucking math that exists that would excuse that. Unless you're retarded and don't think game sells.
Right then? When they pulled the plug on him, what was their cash flow?
That's a good question. Let's look up at news of Konami in 2014.
Jamie, pull up
Well,
that
I
cash
would say,
flow.
important question. When did they pull the plug on him?
I'm assuming 2014. So March of, so was it April of 2015? I think it was that Metal Gear came out in.
I can tell you that during that time, most of their sales were coming from
Pachinko.
Pachinko and card game stuff.
Okay, September 1st.
I think they were having profit issues in video games aside from Kojima's games?
Okay, so let's estimate it took a couple months to finish up and wrap up the game, a couple months to package and buy everything on the physical copy side wise. So let's say they cut him off in March. So let's look at Konami. News in 2015. Silent Hill being canceled. A lot of people are looking to see what's going on. Let's see what here. Konami doesn't know what they're doing. They're a family business. He was an outsider to the Konami family. The saying goes is that the Konami soccer games make the Konami their money, and Kojima Productions is the one that spends it all. That's a ridiculous saying to have when Kojima Productions consistently makes them more money than they spend.
Yes, that's an absolutely
but again,
ridiculous statement.
you also have to keep in mind that you just caveat this with Kojima is added to Konami, which was previously a family business. So he was brought on, and he's an outsider to an insular group. And so, of course, their jokes are going to be, we are the ones that make the real money, and he just spends it all.
Yeah.
Few of Kojima's make the profit their older games used to, despite its solid sales across the board. Development costs for them were also very high. Okay, but if they were still bringing in $210 million with each game. If Metal Gear Solid 5 had the biggest development costs at $80 million, and they brought in an average net profit of $210 million, how the fuck are you really going to sit there and be like, well, it's not just selling like it used to? Really?
Well, keep in mind, by the way, Japanese companies have weird expectations for sales. Look at Capcom.
I know.
They're a
I know.
great example.
Oh,
This
Capcom is
undersold. It's like, guys, what do you mean it undersold? How big do you think the gaming industry actually is, guys? Split between however many genres there are. out there.
It's infinite growth, don't you know?
You know, I think the gaming industry needs to hear that.
Yeah.
I mean, to be clear, the gaming industry is still an absurd amount of money, and it is still growing hand over fist.
Yeah, but it's also stagnating, and we're getting a lot of the same stuff.
Okay, so this is a pro-Konami article, and even still, it's making Kojima sound not in the wrong. It's like, oh, well, if Konami actually, if Konami actually published how much their development costs were, more people would side with them over Kojima. Okay. Well, they didn't.
I mean, yes, that's the idea.
Theoretically, that's possible.
One of the reasons why is Konami felt they were being left behind by Kojima Productions and felt they needed to get in on the action.
Huh?
With the rise of mobile gaming.
Oh, is this weird Japanese thing where they were like, let's all go to mobile games?
Yes.
I mean, hang on a minute. If you're making traditional video games, and you see some motherfucker who makes Fate Grand Order drawing a bunch of just 2D big titty images and saying you have a 0.5% chance to get this big titty 2D bitch, I made $50 million in a minute. Like, shit, man, I'd be like, I'm getting left behind on the money train.
However,
That is an excellent point. However,
mid-2014, old management retired and was replaced with the chairman's son, who did not get along with Kojima.
There it is.
It's more common yet than you'd think.
It's family members changing everything, and then they're just like, I actually
This
don't like this person.
Kojima leaving Konami is a positive experience on the whole for Konami, because Konami has learned the lesson of allowing PR narrative to be concentrated on a single individual.
No, they
Actually,
learned not to let
it
go
was
of
awful
everything,
for
right?
Konami. It was horrible. What are you talking
Kojima sold Konami games.
Yes, it's almost like a single creative can help sell a game.
Yeah, Chris Metzen in WoW is a great example.
Oh God, yes.
Everyone said it was the death of WoW when Chris Metzen left in Cataclysm,
Well, it was.
and it fucking was.
There hasn't been a good
And it
expansion
fucking
since.
was.
No, you know what? There was technically a good expansion for 5 minutes when they released WoW Classic.
That
Okay, yeah,
no,
but that's
no,
just
that's not
releasing.
expansion. That's
Yeah.
not
I think we're.
expansion. That
I
is a
think
regression.
that is stretching the definition of expansion.
Yeah.
I would argue.
I mean, look, WoW was great, and they don't the fucking new generation doesn't understand this shit. WoW was great because it was big, sweaty men fighting big, sweaty orcs. And that's why WoW was great.
So what you're saying is we need a Warhammer Fantasy MMO that doesn't suck dicks.
But that'll never happen.
Unfortunate.
Kinda gay there, Sneaky?
Yeah,
Nah,
that's
dude.
probably
No.
like the best that doesn't happen.
No, dude. No. Fight me here. I will stand upon this hill and die upon it as well.
Well,
The
I
big
think that,
sweaty
that
orc
that's-
hill.
No, Sneaky's got a point. I think this just tells us how insecure Phoenix is in his masculinity.
I mean, that's entirely possible.
Are you really gonna sit here and tell me that this is gay?
Like fools, we clung to the old hatreds
Reforged.
and fought.
I mean,
as we had
okay,
for
shit on Reforged all you
generations.
want. Their cinematics were great.
Oh yeah, sure. I just have a problem with the rest though.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely. But like, come on. Are you really gonna fucking sit here and be like, oh yeah, liking this shit? That was gay. Really? Fight me.
The only thing that I hate cinematics was how they butchered the art this scene. Never stop being upset about that.
Like, come on. Fucking 2000, you popped this into your
Until the
computer,
day
you
the sky
watch this
left in
cinematic,
fire.
and you don't know what's
A new
going on.
enemy came among us.
You don't know what's
Especially
going on,
because-
but it looks cool.
Especially because you have most of those people. You hadn't played Warcraft 1. You sure as fuck hadn't played Warcraft 1.
Yeah.
Probably hadn't played Warcraft 2 either.
No, you really probably didn't.
Let's be real.
A majority of Warcraft's audience came in at Warcraft 3. It's like, come on. Are you really going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, this is lame? This big, hulking, burning rock creature screaming at a big sweaty orc and a big sweaty guy, and then it pans out, and the arms are flexing in the blood as they both bleed red, and their arms have been fucking ripped off by this creature, and they're dead now. It's like, come on. That was the shit. And now, you know what it is now? Now it's fan fiction. Now it's fan fiction. You go to the latest Dragonflight cinematic, and it's one dude with these really manicured eyebrows turning to a girl with really manicured eyebrows, and he goes, I feel sad. And she goes, oh, well, don't feel sad. We're family. And he goes, oh, you're right. My feelings of sadness are moving on. Thank you for telling me.
Remember
And
what
then the
happened
cin-
in Arthur
then
in
the
that one
cinematic
fucking
ends.
cutscene for some reason?
It's like, come on. Come on. Don't sit there. That shit's all fan fiction. Everything Everything past the opening cinematic for Mists of Pandaria is fanfiction.
Does that mean the opening cinematic is acceptable and that's where it ends?
Yes, unironically, here's the opening cinematic for Mists of Pandaria.
Mists of Pandaria's
That
opening
might be
cinematic
the
is fucking hilarious.
most positive thing I've ever heard about the Mists of Pandaria expansion.
Like, this opening cinematic was, again, it literally was a harkening back to, like, Warcraft 3's opening cinematic. It was great.
Yeah, the opening cinematic was great, but then you actually played as pandas and saw pandas, and it was fucking retarded.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
you
no,
didn't
like I said,
you didn't
everything
like
past the opening cinematic was terrible. But the opening cinematic was great. You know, these fucking ships, they're just blowing each other apart, right? You know, you see the banner of the Horde fall and the banner of the Alliance fall as they crash on this island, right? You know, there's mist and there's fog everywhere. And the two survivors, what is it? It's a big sweaty orc. Guess what? He's here and he's angry. And you know who else survived? A big sweaty human. And he's also here and angry. And
Why
you
do
know
they
what
have
they're
to be
gonna
sweaty?
do? Oh, well, they just got out of the ocean. So, I mean, technically,
Yeah.
they're just, like, salty.
Don't interrupt him. He's cooking.
Yeah, I'm cooking. You know, the fucking human
let
just
you cook.
finished sharpening a fucking pole into a spear, and he's walking up these stairs, and it's this mysterious jungle. And guess what happens? The orc and the human, they meet, and you know what they do? They fight. Because fuck you, that's why. And then a fucking panda shows up. And you know what happens then? The orc and the human look at each other, and they say, you know what? We hate each other. But fuck that
Fuck
panda.
that guy.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was great. He looks around, he fucking looks for his totem. He's like, all right, hammer. I have a hammer now. Great. You know, they're going around, they're destroying these, you know, shrines and whatnot in their fight, and they're ringing bells and smashing shit up. And then Panda shows up, and he proceeds to beat both of them up for fighting like naughty men. And they, you know, they look at each other, they hand each other weapons, and they're like, yeah, let's go fuck this guy up. Fuck that panda. And you watched this cinematic, and you're like, yeah, fuck
Should have
that
managed his own
panda.
fucking business.
Yeah. He should have stayed in Happy Panda Land and not gotten involved. You want to know who else we had to teach that don't get fucking involved lesson 2?
Everyone?
I was thinking the Bronze Dragon flight.
Well, yeah, that's true, yeah. You know, Panda, you know, smashes the hammer back into place. You know, human looks at the orc, hands him his spear. Orc doesn't even look at the human, just takes the spear, and they're like, all right, yeah, fuck this guy, let's go. You know, great shit. Fantastic shit. Made you so pumped for Mr. Pandaria.
I like the complete tonal shift of this cinematic.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because that's actually a really nice tonal shift. They did it super well.
Yeah, no, the cinematics team, there's a reason why people joked about the cinematics team needing to make the movie for Warcraft.
Oh, yeah.
The cinematography works well as a complete,
talk,
like...
though, cinematics like this are why I hate World of Warcraft and Warcraft in general, because I want to play this,
And
not
then you like look at
what's
a
given to
top-down,
me.
like 2003 tier graphics.
Not you want to play this. You don't want to play. Let me pull it up, Max, and you'll see what I mean when I'm talking about fucking femboy fan fiction.
What?
Fucking don't.
Use the
You'll understand in a
fucking-
second.
Oh no. Oh no.
Well,
oh, what did they do to
welcome,
Dragonflight?
welcome to the dragons. Let me. Come on, bring up the fucking picture. Yeah, welcome to the dragons.
What?
Yeah, these are the dragons you can play as, guys. Like, oh my god, they're so great.
Ah, yes, I see who has been making these expansions.
And the worst part was,
There's
Max.
a lot of things I want to say, but my family is home, so there's words that I don't feel like uttering out loud.
So these are the dragons we get to play as. You know what else we could have played as? Like, they invented these guys, by the way. These guys did not exist until this expansion came out. These are the two-legged dragons that we could have played as.
Wait for it to load in.
Waiting for that.
I was gonna say
Got
you
that.
you can't. Now remember.
No, I'm
you
doing
can't
it.
just
Yeah.
Show off hot dragon mom.
No.
You mean
These
Alex
are the
Johnson?
dragons we could have played as.
I'd rather
Yeah.
played as that.
Yeah.
That looks so
I
cool.
still don't like it, but it's better than the Twink Dragon.
Well, you also have. Let me find them.
I'm
Let me
not
find
a huge
them.
fan of the 4 legs, but
Oh, fucking
Oh,
hell.
really?
No, there's a big, beefier dragon, two-legged dragon. Fucking hell, man. I'm trying to find... It's not called Dragon Spawn. Oh my god, they're so fucking twinky. Oh my god. They're so twinky. Look at them. Look at this shit. They're so twinky.
Yeah, that's made by
Those are the
fairies.
press. Oh, those are press assets. Oh no, that means it's official.
First
no.
off, yeah. First off, motherfucking, like, come on. So, Warcraft 3, right? Frozen Throne Lich King.
oh, dude, Frozen Throne Lich King is like a whole nother step.
I still remember the marketing campaign they did for that shit with like
The Return of the
Rock
Human
horns and
King.
shit
Look
like
at
that.
this guy.
Bro, I remember. Now I want to be very clear. Remember, I grew up in a sheltered Christian home. So
Also,
when I say this statement, nobody's allowed to get mad at me. I didn't know who Ozzy Osbourne was.
Nice.
Fair.
I do appreciate that this article just has section B of article, war crimes. Next picture, Garrosh.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not wrong. Garrosh nuked a town. Garrosh nuked another town. He sent
Garrosh is
world
the
evils upon people because he was in search of more power, and he did it all for the Horde. He fucked so many people up. It was great. Garrosh wasn't wrong. Garrosh did nothing wrong.
I don't know. I don't know. I
Well,
feel like
listen,
Thrall has
listen,
a couple
Atin.
arguments for you there, Sneaky.
It's never a war crime the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But the second and third time, definitely war crime.
No, that's just making sure.
No, at that point, their actual boss had said this is a war crime.
Holy fuck. Makes it even more based.
No, those are dragon guards. We're looking for dragonkin.
Maybe try searching for them?
I'm trying to search for them.
He's trying.
You're
to
talking about the
unlock,
mobs that were
like,
down.
years old privilege.
You're talking about the mobs that were down in that swamp in the south where that black dragon is?
No, not the whelps. I'm talking about the two-legged guys.
The two-legged ones, yeah. There were a bunch of four-legged ones, and there were a bunch of two-legged ones. There was a swamp. It was near where Jaina was hiding
Yeah, that was
out.
Anixia's lair.
Yeah, that one.
Anixia Warder. Yeah, I think this is what they're. Yeah, no, they're not the Anixia Warder. Elite Guard? No, those are four-legged as
maybe.
well.
Hey, can we not talk about Anixia? She's a fucking annoying prick.
Is she really?
Just a little bit.
Not a little bit. The only person more annoying than Anixia. What was the asshole that ran Bronze, Sneaky?
Nas Dormu. By the way, the sad, highly arched, manicured eyebrow guy that I was talking about, that was Nas Dormu in the newest expansion.
I am Nas Dormu. This is how time is supposed to go. I'm gonna kill everyone because it's not going my way.
Yeah, literally.
Death.
Yeah, he was kind of a bitch. I'm gonna be real.
Like, you know what? At least the Black Dragon Flight was like, yeah, I just fucking hate all the humans and the orcs. You're all less than people to me. Die.
It's
You know
fair.
what? I can respect that.
Yeah, we respect that, yeah. God damn, Jesus Christ, there's so many fucking four-legged ones, and can't fucking... We all know who I'm talking about, but we need the fucking picture of them, because it's just, it is so wild putting them next to each other. I think that's the Wormguard, maybe? Yeah, here we go. This is who we could have had.
Oh. Damn.
Oh yeah, those dudes.
Big, sweaty dragon dudes. But no, we get the fucking twinks that they had to add to the game. We could have played as these big, beefy dragon people, but nah. We had to play as bitches.
If they're going to do all that shit, what they need to do is finally release an expansion that lets you swap sides. Just become a traitor, take whatever race you're playing as. If you want to be a blood elf, but switch to the Alliance, let you fucking do it.
Yeah,
No,
they,
they didn't.
yeah, basically.
No.
Yeah,
No,
they...
You change races, you don't keep your race.
No. So basically, because of the massive population issues that WoW is having, because they've absolutely fanfiction tier plots now, and I've been saying it for literally ages that it's going to make its way into mainstream media, and now it has, and it's crippling these juggernaut of stories that no one ever thought could be bad. And it's crippling them now. Because they're bad. Because they introduced all this fan fiction shit into them. Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor cinematic. Again, well, Garrosh is here, so obviously it's gonna be a good one.
Garrosh was such a disappointment.
That's an
Yes! No, but yes. Like, come on. This is your opening. It's like, bro, I'm feeling it.
Man, I remember seeing the Warlords of Draenor cinematic. It almost got me back in.
Same. I saw this cinematic and I said, ooh. Ooh.
Like, if nothing else, you know what? Credit to Blizzard. The music starts out banging.
Yeah. You know, fucking they hand this cup of blood. It's reenacting the events of Warcraft 2.
Claim
You know,
your
one thing that I
destiny.
really like? There's some real heavy Saruman vibes coming from the music here. And it's
Oh, yeah.
great.
Yeah, it's absolutely great.
Yeah, I considered getting back into World of Warcraft, and then I remembered all the ways they shit on their players since, Lich King.
Everything.
Which
Yeah.
I've been shitting on.
And he pours the blood out. Separating the histories now.
Reject this gift.
This was not supposed to happen. Times have changed.
And this giant demon shows up. Massive. He's big. He's sweaty.
And did you bring the
Okay, seriously, what do you
Sneaky likes big sweaty men.
Bro, he's listening. I don't know what else to say. He's literally sweaty.
Okay,
Yeah.
you don't have to bring it up every single fucking time, though.
But it's my point, though, is you have... This is the difference, though, between the fan fiction of modern WoW and the good old WoW, where it's just, like, these, like, beyond hyper-masculine characters. And then you look at modern fanfiction WoW, and it's like they're all dainty femboys with manicured eyebrows and high cheekbones and skinny bodies, and they're like talking about their
you don't
feelings.
Get anything good like that in shit. What was the expansion where she burned the world tree?
You mean the fucking...
Oh, Battle for Azeroth. Yes.
Yeah, go pull that cinematic up.
I'll pull it up in a second. Hold on. I want to watch the demon get hit by a nuke.
Pull that up, 'cause I feel like we already know how that ends.
Yeah, so basically, the demon shows up and he's like, I'm gonna slaughter all of you because I'm a badass demon and fuck you, I'm massive and I can just kill you all. And then, Garrosh says, yeah, that's cool and all, but I have napalm and a nuke. And proceeds to fire a nuke straight at this dude.
Hand aimed.
Yeah, hand-aimed nuke just straight at this dude. You know, fucking Hellscream runs over to the nuke to hand push it back into place so it can fire at just the right angle. And it fucking goes off and goes directly at the demon. You know, like, come on, you know, he's heaving and hoeing, and you're watching this bomb rolled right at the demon, and then it explodes, and he dies, and it's great. You know, and then fucking flies out of the fireball with his axe, and chops the demon's head in half, and the demon explodes. How can you watch that shit and not be like, yeah, I'm here for that. I'm here for that. And, like, don't get me wrong.
They nearly got me back in.
Like, Dragonflight, their opening cinematic, it was touching. You know, it wasn't like this big, gristled, you know, opening cinematic of, like, hardcore, let's go.
It's okay.
Right, yeah. It wasn't bad. It was telling this story of the Watcher, who was, by the way, he's not sweaty, but a big man who went into hibernation following orders. He wakes up to realize he's the only one that survived hibernation, and that it's up to him to reignite the beacon to allow the lands to be found again. And so he climbs up and he sees all of his, you know, brothers in arms dead around him, and he's climbing and climbing and climbing, and he finally gets to the activation chamber and he turns it on. It doesn't turn on. The mechanism, it's not pushing the beacon together anymore. So he has to climb up. His arms are breaking apart as he climbs up the tower, and he hand pushes the beacon back together, and it connects again like a fucking magnet and explodes in a giant blast of energy, sending him flying off this really tall tower. And then it cuts to a shot of him falling to his death, and he accepts it, knowing that he did his final job. And then he gets saved, but, you know, that's not the important part. Like, that is a moving story there. But
Do
there's
you expect
not...
moving stories anymore?
No, I don't, actually. That's why I was surprised by it. I don't expect moving stories at all. I mean, like, you had the Shadow Flight, Shadow Run, no, Shadow, the
Shadow, what the fuck it?
The Death expansion for WoW.
Yeah.
Shadowlands. That cinematic, it was like, yeah, sure, you have a big sweaty guy fighting, but he's fighting Sylvanas, and she styles on him like she's a fucking Mary Sue, because she is, because the guy writing her at the time had an absolute fucking hard-on for Sylvanas being a Mary Sue.
We don't talk
He
about
is canonically a Mary Sue.
He even wrote himself into the story.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
What?
Yeah. So, way back in the day, he created this character called, like, Nathaniel or some shit. And he was supposed to be Legolas. He was supposed to be Aragorn. Literally. You know, raised as an orphan among elves, became a ranger among the elves, who was so good as a human ranger that they allowed him to be one despite him not being an elf. Was great with the bow, used 2 swords, and totally simped for Sylvanas. And he basically was regulated to a nobody because he was he was this guy's OC, and they didn't want anyone's OCs being part of the main story because they realized that while it's all fun and games of allowing each developer to create a character to put in the world to just be like, yeah, this is my cool character, look at it, he's in there. Like, that's all fine and dandy because we're all friends here and we're all, passionate about the game. Letting them be part of the main story was a big no-no because obviously, there's a bias going on.
Cool if he does X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, exactly. And so very, very long time, he was just some no-name character, effectively, out in the middle of nowhere.
If I had a nickel for every single time an author self-inserted himself into a story, and everyone knew exactly who it was immediately, I'd have fucking...
You'd be rich.
2 dimes.
No, 2 dimes knows you would be able to solve the U.S. budget crisis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, this guy ended up becoming the main lead creative writer.
Oh, no.
And he brought his character back into the story. And he became this total simp for Sylvanas, and Sylvanas totally loved him too. And Sylvanas was the greatest.
Emotionless.
Yeah, despite her being a literal emotionless corpse. Totally loved him too. And they had a super special relationship, and Sylvanas was amazing and the bestest at everything.
Except when she was committing war. Well, no, she was still the best.
She was great at committing war crimes. To be fair, I think the burning of Teldrassil was the best thing that Afrasabi ever did to WoW.
To be fair, it spawned a pretty good song.
Yes. But yeah, the Sylvanas turned into this super special thing, and so of course Sylvanas alone rocks up to the Lich King and 1v1s him and wins easily without even breaking a sweat.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That seems a little suspect.
I want to point out the man 1v1's the man who was so confident he walked back into his ancestral home castle alone.
No, you're thinking of the first Lich King.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah. Isn't that the guy that hates Asmongold? One of many. There's a lot of people at Modern Blizzard that hate Asmongold.
I mean, to be fair, I hate Asmongold too, but that's because he's a fucking disgusting gremlin of a human being.
Yes. They hate Asmongold because he points out all the flaws in their game.
He pointed out all the flaws in their game and then said, I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy XIV, which for all of its flaws...
is a better game.
Still bothers to tell a fucking narrative, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't World of Warcraft lose much of their player base to Final Fantasy after that?
World of Warcraft lost like half their player base, first off. But second off, World of Warcraft lost so much of its player base. So back in the way back in the day, almost over a decade ago now, back in Wrath of Lich King even, they used to post monthly figures and would boast yearly figures about how many people were now playing WoW. Back in the day, it was like, oh, did you hear? We just broke 12 million players. Whoa, dude, that's so cool. I know. We're playing the thing. We're all playing the thing.
We're all playing the thing. There's a not insubstantial chance that the person next to me has played the thing.
Yeah, it was good days. Good days. And then when CAD came around, they suddenly stopped talking about numbers. Numbers weren't important anymore, you see. It's not about the numbers of people playing the game. It's about the stories they tell.
No.
Which is code for people stopped being interested in the game, which, again, it was inevitable. It was inevitable that people stopped being interested in WoW, not because of time, but because the people that were interested in WoW all the way back in 2000, when Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos came out, who moved on to play Frozen Throne in 2001, they came to see the conclusion of the Lich King, which they did with Wrath of the Lich King. So it's inevitable that once you've seen the story you started on end, you lose interest.
Well, not just that. This thing is a 20-year-old game now. Stop releasing new expansions and releasing new games.
Cataclysm came out in 2010. So 2010 would have put it at 20 years old. I think the Warcraft franchise just celebrated its 30th recently.
No, I mean World of Warcraft specifically is about 20.
World of Warcraft is 20, yeah. Yeah, we're approaching 20.
Also, don't forget, in the meantime, you have things like Final Fantasy XIV, which released an update to bring everything up into better graphics. And that was like 10 years ago, and now they're doing another one?
Yeah. Yep. Which, again, no, to be fair, though, as well, Final Fantasy, the original version of the online game, sucked shit. Everyone knew it, including the developers.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And the developers were like, you know what, guys? You're right, but we don't want to let the game go. So instead of trying to push out incremental updates to a bad game, we're going to have one hell of a way to reboot the franchise. And they literally nuked the fucking game.
We're gonna kill the franchise.
It was great. Real talk. Have you seen the cutscene that they made?
It's fantastic. Yes, it is amazing.
Like, I really listen. We pulled up all the cool WoW cinematics. You should show people the Final Fantasy XIV gets nuked.
Was it a reboot ending?
Yeah. Credit where it's due. Making your EOS the version 1 of your game canonical is great.
Yeah, right.
As long as people don't actually.
It's really hard to. Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go.
As long as people don't what knows.
As long as people aren't super invested in that setting.
I don't think they
No,
were.
no one was because it was really bad. Like
all right, hey, Sneaky, you're gonna want to skip to 453.
I mean, what I'm talking is
Oh wait, no.
I'm running.
Oh, okay, sorry, Sneaky. Yeah, skip to like 5 minutes in. You actually get a cutscene.
Like, really, like, look at this. Like, I'm sorry, but this GUI was trash. Like, this was fucking awful here. Like, what the hell is this? This is disgusting. The fact that they ended it, A Realm Reborn, and then they made all of this content about it, right? Oh, this is a Realm Reborn, guys. This is a Realm Reborn. You know, this is new now. It's like, that is an amazing way to do it. And they had the chance to do that with Cataclysm. They had a chance to do effectively WoW 2 with Cataclysm, and they got so close. Yeah, they went back and redid the entire original world of Warcraft. They went back to the original zones, and they fully changed them all. They updated the questing experience. They updated so much. They updated the graphics of the world. They updated so much. They updated the fucking map. They put fucking craters and giant ravines into the map where the dragon god of the earth crashed through the mantle and blew a bloody magmatic smear through the continent. They did that.
Yeah.
But they didn't nuke it. They didn't restart. They didn't have this be this immense hoorah, final farewell to everything we knew about it, and now we're going to start again in a new world.
Yeah. Well, right, and it's like they didn't even restart it in a new world, right? A bunch of the characters that you know and love are still there. Well, some of them anyway. The worlds
Versions
that
of
you
them.
know are
And-
still there.
And then later on in Final Fantasy XIV, you know, versions of these characters were still there, and then they came out and revealed that some of the characters were actually from the previous world, and they made it through, and there was a whole big plot, story reasons, and stuff like that about it. But like Final Fantasy XIV had this opportunity, and they took it, and they made a better game out of it. Warcraft had the same opportunity, and they didn't. They did a half measure, which again produced a good game to play, but it didn't fix the issues that people had with World of Warcraft. It didn't fix the plot issues that people had with World of Warcraft. Because where do you really go after the fall of the Lich King? What else is there? There isn't really much.
I would say that's the problem. That's when you start to see the ridiculous escalation of Pandaria, of Alexstrasza, of the Bronze Dragonflight, of the Black Dragonflight.
Yeah. And it gets really excessive, and they keep escalating. And it's gotten to the point now with Dragonflight where it's like, oh, well, actually, it's this giant cosmic mega hyper war in the heavens between all 8 factions of the energies of the world, and Azeroth is, for some reason, at the center of it that for reasons we continue to not explain.
Right, and this is one of the things that's most nonsensical about it, right?
Yeah. It's
Here's the
so
problem.
fanfiction-y.
WoW has had... I'm trying to think of how to phrase this carefully. Even though WoW has been fantastical, it's retained a level of groundedness
Yes.
that came over
From big sweaty men fighting big sweaty men.
Yes, right. But when I'm saying right, that level of groundedness, it's retained that level of groundedness from being a why can't I think a Warcraft game, right? Based on Warhammer, right? Because again, Warhammer is ridiculous, but there's a level of relative grounded, right? Why is everything bad in the Warhammer universe? Because people are petty fucking assholes that can't get out of their own way for 5 minutes. Why do things suck ass in WoW? Because people are petty assholes that can't get out of their way for 5 fucking minutes.
But again, all of the stories in World of Warcraft up until Cataclysm were all, I'm not going to say relatable, but they were all easily understandable stories. And even Warcraft 1 and 2 of, oh, you know, a giant portal opened up and these orc monsters are flowing through it and they're coming to kill us all. That's it completely. Like, you don't need some sort of 5D chess mechanic maneuver to explain why A, that's bad, B, why you want to fight it, and C, why it's a cool experience, you know? Because it's just like, oh, monsters are pouring out of the portal, we gotta defend humanity. Like, that's like the oldest fucking story in the book, effectively.
Yeah, the horrible portal is spawning monsters. Hey, elves, you want to quit being assholes and help? No? Yeah, I shouldn't expect that.
Well, you gotta keep
We're
in mind
too busy
that,
with our courtly intrigue. Fuck you.
you know,
Fuck you, human.
elves were actually in Warcraft 2, the expansion pack, because Warcraft 2 was literally called Orcs and Humans.
I know.
But yeah, so there were other races, and they eventually got introduced over time. But the point is that even in Warcraft 3, what was the plot? The plot was that this guy had a vision, and he had to save his people, and he's an orc. So he wakes up, and he goes out, and he tries to change the warlike culture of his people to lead them all into a future where they won't be killed. Also, come on, you gotta hand it to them. They fucking play this fucking cinematic where the entire world gets deleted, and they're like, you know, but every end marks a new beginning. And then what does it fucking do? It kicks you out of the server.
Yeah.
Yeah, your server's dead. All those people that you met, they're all dead, buddy.
Come back in 6 months.
Yeah, literally, it's like come back in a couple months. Check out Realm Reborn when it releases. It's like that's top. That's top. You know.
Square is the company that is carried by like all of the people that actually.
Square is carried by the people currently on staff.
Yeah.
One of which is a man who is Soken, a man who can do nothing but produce bangers.
Well, you also have to keep in mind that the people behind Final Fantasy XIV play Final Fantasy XIV, much like the people behind WoW for the first 3 expansion packs played WoW.
Well, you're right, but here's one of the fundamental differences between the WoW developers now and the guy who's running Final Fantasy XIV.
No, not WoW developers now. WoW back when it was good.
No, but here's the thing. Even WoW back then, because you would never have heard Chris Metzen say this. Never.
Okay, what did he say?
This was during one of the fan interviews.
Right.
Right at the big final. I want to be clear. This was happening at the Final Fantasy Fan Expo, where this question is asked. Mr. Director, how do I keep up my enthusiasm for playing the game in between big expansions and story drops?
Oh yeah, he said don't.
Don't.
Yeah.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
No. I think if that question was posed to Chris Metzen back before they were bought by Activision, I think Chris Metzen would have responded the same way.
Doubt.
No.
Always a little more in love with his worlds.
Okay, that's fair, but he wouldn't tell someone to play something they didn't enjoy.
Yeah, but
just do more rating, bro.
I mean, but even then, the question, right? That question wasn't coming from someone who's saying, I'm not having fun. It was, how do I keep up my enthusiasm? Which, I mean, yeah, sure, you could interpret that as not having fun, right? But, like, just the amount of confidence in your product that it takes for a guy to be like, just don't play for 3 months. Yeah, sure, he didn't go out and say, cancel your sub for 3 months, right? But that's functionally what he said, stop paying me for 3 months.
Right, no, and I understand, but my point is that the core group of the original WoW enthusiasts who built WoW into what it was during its peak would have probably had the same opinions if you had been able to ask them.
Yeah.
Such things.
Maybe it's not something we can know, but I can say, right, we can certainly say right here, right now, it's a driving factor in Final Fantasy XIV's success.
Yeah, 100%. Telling people to stop playing your game obnoxiously, because what modern WoW does is they just make the game continuously harder.
Well, it's not just that they make the game continuously harder, right? They do the thing that Destiny 2 has tried to survive on, which is fear of missing out.
No.
Here's this big event. Here's this big event.
No.
Really? Because I thought WoW was pulling that all the time. Here's this event. Here's this event. Here's this event. Get this exclusive thing.
Nope. That doesn't happen at all. In fact, they've actually done the opposite, where everything's now a catch-up mechanic.
Really?
Yeah, there's like so many different things you can do.
So what they did, so back in the day of old WoW being good WoW, Wrath of Lich King WoW, is you played Noxuramas, so you could do Eye of Malagos. You played Eye of Malagos, so you could do Ulduar. You did Ulduar, so you could do Trial of Crusader. Now, Trial of Crusader was pretty fucking easy, and a lot of people just kind of skipped Ulduar to do Trial of Crusader because most people had the gear at this time, and so whenever they had to re-gear someone, they kind of just, dragged it along a dead-ass anchor because Trial of Crusader was really fucking easy. But you did Trial of Crusader, so you could get into fucking Ice Crown. Okay? And you had to do these in order for every single fucking character you wanted to play. Because you know what that meant? That meant there was always a Nax raid going. That meant there was always an Ulduar raid going. That meant that you gearing up this way made you invest in your character in a way that doesn't happen in Modern WoW. Because you know what happens in Modern WoW now? A new
just
raid
run
comes
whatever
out,
the latest.
nothing else matters anymore. Once the second a new raid comes out, nothing else matters because the gear dropping now in the fucking normal dungeons is now better than the gear you got from Mythic of the previous raid.
No, the
That's one thing
starter gear, when you buy your level up, if you do that, is
Yes.
better than what you would have gotten.
Yes.
The
That's it.
green
Yeah, I was
shit.
saying, one of the things that I appreciate about 14, right? They will go back and refresh old raids to bring them up to higher difficulties, so you can go back and do them to get current level gear.
No, yeah, no.
I thought the old raids in Final Fantasy were all okay. We're just gonna bring you down to this level that this is supposed to be at.
I believe it's
so
both.
There's
Yeah, there's two different
ways-
modes.
There's 3 different ways that you can experience raids.
Yeah.
Now. There's first, which is do it by yourself and play it unlocked, which doesn't level cap you, it doesn't gear cap you, you won't get any drops, but you will get like titles for clearing raids and stuff. And then there's the second way, which is level capped, and then there's the third way, which is play it on whatever the new difficulty is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so it brings relevance back to the old raids, and it's a 50-50, but doing the raids also kind of told a story in WoW of kind of how the events went apace. Like first you had to go in the Noxeramas and you had to take care of Kel'Thuzad, and in the process of doing so you actually ended up finding a key that lets you go fight Malygos and take care of that problem. And in fighting Malygos, you realize that Ulduar was having issues and you had to go beat up the Death God in Ulduar. So you went and did that, and it's like, all right, well, what do you do now? How does this connect to anything else? Oh, well, now you're a big, strong man. Let's go fuck up Icecrown Citadel. But, before we do that, let's make sure everyone's on the same level here. Let's go do some fucking Trial of the Crusader to make sure we're all equals here before we go storm the fucking Lich King's lair. And everyone's like, all right, that's fair enough. So you go do that, you have some fun times, do some dailies, fuck about, get some mounts, you run around the Colosseum, all that fun stuff. And then you storm Icecrown Citadel. And that was a motherfucker. Icecrown Citadel was so hard, not because of mechanics, just because of HP pools, the damage they did. And yes, certainly the mechanics were hard and you had to pay attention to some of them, but they aren't the mechanics of modern day, of where it's like, oh, I have to sidestep left into the blue circle to sidestep left again into the green circle, and then I have to hop twice in the red circle and then jump over the beam and then spin around and then use my strongest attack so I can get rid of the debuff that's been building up on me this whole time to boost that attack and reset that debuff, and then I use a heal ability to reset the other debuff I have.
Yeah, well, no. So there's a fantastic video of the current complexity of WoW raids. It's in my saved favorites. I gotta go back and find it. But basically, the problem is they made raids that were about the peak of what could handle.
Okay, well, we can't hear you. So I'll say what I think you're saying. So effectively, they made raids harder and harder because they came out with like apps and add-ons and like side load shit and all this crap to tell people how to play the bosses, because the boss mechanics kept getting harder, and the people playing this top tier content kept demanding harder and harder and harder mechanics in raids because the fucking third-party apps they were purchasing made them easy. And this is why I tried to play Shadowlands with Gray, and it didn't work, because I couldn't raid, because I refused to load apps to raid.
You don't want to load like 3 different apps all to learn how to raid?
No, it's not learn how to raid. The app literally calls out from a hidden signal flag buried in the boss's code that the boss is going to do this attack in the next 6 seconds.
Oh, wait,
and then it shows you on screen where you need to stand so you don't get hit by it.
Yeah.
What?
By
I
the
thought this
way,
was like,
all of that's
oh,
third
oh,
party.
no.
Yeah.
how you learn how to-
So
I thought
okay,
it was
so
like,
right, imagine doing a Final Fantasy 14 boss, except the boss doesn't tell you where his attacks are going, what his attack is gonna be, and who he's targeting.
that.
Yeah, so they modded it to
That's
just be
so.
Well, no,
No.
they didn't.
They-
Because Final Fantasy 14 will tell you, hey, go stand over here. The problem with WoW is that you were meant to learn the mechanics over time,
Yeah.
right? And like when I play Final Fantasy 14, the Omega raid, you get Omega down to half health. It splits into two. And some people get an Omega debuff, some people get an Alpha debuff. If you have the Alpha debuff, go fight Alpha. If you have the Omega debuff, go fight Omega. And 10 seconds of looking at your UI can tell you that.
Yeah.
But what this program will do is go in giant red right, and this is the important thing. It is unmissable.
Yeah.
Huge, giant, bright red letters across your screen. You have received the Omega debuff. Go stand next to the Omega boss and DPS it to 2%. Wait until the Alpha group has DPS'd theirs to 2%. Kill them at the same time.
Well, it won't say all of that, but what it'll do is it'll play a loud sound, it'll flash the words Omega, it'll put a little arrow for you to tell you where you specifically need to stand, because of course everyone else in the raid also has that add-on, and that add-on's talking to everyone else's add-ons, so it's mathematically calculating where you all need to stand precisely, so you don't get into the AoE of anyone else, so it doesn't trigger the debuff damage over time effect. That's also secretly there that you don't know about and can't see unless you're too close to someone, which you're going to start dying, and you wouldn't know that unless you had that add-on attached to your computer. And then once you beat the boss, once you get that boss down to 2% HP, then it'll start flashing, don't attack, don't attack, don't attack, and then it will play another sound once the other boss gets down to 2% HP, and it'll flash attack, 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 and then you can both beat the boss. Yeah. And that's what that.
So they
That's
modded
fucking
in easy mode.
They basically hacked the game to look at the boss's code, and instead of the developers going, okay, well, enough of that, you're not allowed to do that anymore, they just started making the bosses
balanced
around everyone having this hack code. Yeah.
So they didn't learn at
And
all how to
the
actually.
biggest problem is the original reason that hack was made was because there was a guy who he didn't have a lot of time to play WoW, and this is really important, right?
Yeah.
He didn't have a lot of time. He liked the old days of playing WoW where you were allowed to be bad in a raid.
Mm-hmm.
You remember those days, right,
Yep,
Sneaky?
of course. I was fucking... Dude, I was the guy that was in PvP gear for raids.
Well, to be fair, that wasn't quite so egregious back then, but
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Right, you were allowed to be bad at a raid in WoW, and you could type into the raid group, "Hey everyone, this is my first time. I'm learning," and people would say, right? They would either adjust their expectations down,
yeah.
or someone who'd been there for a while.
Not only that. The mechanics were pretty simple too back in the old days of like, so there was a boss in Icecrown Citadel. She says, I'm gonna bite you, and then she targets someone, she walks up to them, she bites them. They're now a vampire, they have a countdown mechanic, they're getting damage over time, but they do bonus damage. But the whole thing is that you can't be bitten twice or you die. So what you do is when she goes, oh, I'm gonna bite you, someone is supposed to either stun her or take the aggro to make her bite them instead. And you're supposed to alternate around doing this. And the idea was back in the day, you would be in a voice chat with everyone, and the raid leader would shout something like, all right, Moo, take it now. Okay, Venti, you're up.
You don't even have to do that though, right? You could do it with text.
You could do it with text, but let's be honest here. Anyone that was serious about raiding who wasn't doing a public raid group It had
Okay,
a ventriloquist
yes,
channel.
Yes, you're right. But my point was, it was perfectly accomplishable with
By text,
only
yeah.
the
And
in-game
it was a
tools.
big wind up. The boss walked slowly. It wasn't a shock to anyone that this was happening. You know, it was quite telegraphed and all of that. And that's just how it was. And it was it was a very easy mechanic to get around. Or this boss charges. Before he charges, he stops attacking and starts beating his chest. And it's like, okay, he's gonna charge, guys. Everyone get out of the way of the direction he's pointing. And he'll start tracking one specific player, and that player has to, basically run to the wall and wait for the boss to start charging them, and then run out of the way. And then the boss hits the wall and gets stunned, and you will keep, go back to beating on him. It's very simple, basic mechanics that were fun enough. They're fun enough to fight. And then, they got a little bit harder over time, and it got a little bit more difficult to get people to follow along. And the early stages of that mod was literally just, boss is charging, 3, 2, 1, he's charging now. And that's it.
Right, but anyway.
Yeah, and
back to my
then
point,
expanded,
the guy
yeah.
who made that thing, he went looking for those hidden signal flags because WoW started having, and I hate to use the word, but it started having an elitism problem. You
Mhm.
remember it, Sneaky.
Yeah.
You remember the people saying in
Gear score.
chats, LFG, right, looking for DPS, looking for healer, looking for tank, must have X title.
Yeah. Oh god, they had
Must
the
know
title.
mechanics.
Yeah, that was Kata. Yeah.
You must have this title, otherwise I'm going to consider you beneath me.
Yeah, literally,
right? Stuff like, where it got to the point where people would be looking for pickup raid groups, and they would be like, "You must have the title for already having cleared this raid, or get out."
Yeah.
And this guy was sick of that because he's like, "I don't have time to learn these mechanics, but these are cool fights, they're fun fights, and I want to experience them." So he made this little program for himself, and then he shared it around his guild because other people had lives and they had the same problem. And then someone was like, "Hey, you should share this with other people." And it started getting really popular. And people wanted him to upkeep it full time. And he's like, "Well, if I'm going to upkeep this full time, then I need to charge money for this."
Yeah. And it was yeah, and like I don't begrudge the guy. I begrudge the developers, because the developers could have at any time just said, "Hey, fuck you. No, we're gonna start, telegraphing all the boss's attacks. If the boss is gonna charge in a line and leave a bolt of fire where he runs through, the entire section he's charging through turns into a giant red square. Don't be in the fucking red square. It's easy, simple." Literally Final Fantasy, what Final Fantasy does. I would have been perfectly fine with it.
Fucking mod because people still can't understand to get out of the fucking red.
No, because they would cancel out the ability to do it. And the WoW devs has said forever that they could have done this at any time, and I believe them because they blatantly left the code unshielded. Yeah. And they could have just made the bosses like Final Fantasy 14, and where the boss is going to hit be blatantly obvious, but they didn't, because they wanted to pander to this like 1% core hyper sweaty nerds that were just like obsessed with getting the 0.0001 percentile best score of the raid.
Okay. Great. So WoW. Cool. So WoW was just an earlier version of Warframe where they listened to the jackasses that know life was game.
Even worse, because the people in Warframe didn't use mods to make the game easy.
Yeah, that was the worst part of WoW, is everyone used these mods to make the game easy and then complained the game was too easy and demanded they make it harder. And then the mods made it easy again because the mods, just updated their code. And then they were like, "Oh my god, it's easy again. Oh, this is terrible." And so that's why they had Mythic, where you with Mythic dungeons, this whole idea was that the dungeon, every single time you ran it in that week, it would get harder, with more HP and more damage being dealt.
Well, that doesn't really matter, because in the end of the day, it's still, Still the same fucking raid.
Yes, it was the same thing, and it was still boring, and the mechanics were still bad, and it didn't fucking matter, and it was the worst kind of difficulty possible. It was artificial difficulty, where everything just hit harder and had more HP, and so there was less room for you to fuck up and not understand the mechanic or make a bad call in.
I remember when Borderlands 2 did that. That was fun.
Yeah,
I think
right.
one of my personal favorites was when they eventually reached the point where they just said, was it Mythic 5, Mythic 6, where they just said the enrage timer is reduced by 30 seconds.
I don't know what it was. It got ridiculous. Like, people make it up to like Mythic 33 now, and they're demanding it to be made harder because it's too easy to get to Mythic 33, when literally only like 15 people in the world made it to that point. Yeah, no, it's the people behind WoW's writing team are filled with fan fiction writers, and the people behind WoW's programming team are filled with children who hate being told that they're doing the game wrong. And so instead of actually improving the game, they doubled down on the shit that they were fucking up already.
Like, I honestly wonder if the entire team is just so horrendously bitter at Final Fantasy 14 that saying maybe we should copy some things from 14 just like immediately gets you fired. Like,
it's entirely, honestly, it's entirely possible, because the funny thing is that WoW back in the day literally ripped off mechanics from other games and made that was literally what WoW was known for, of it having this mechanic from this game, but it's better because Blizzard put the Blizzard spin on it and made it good and fit into the game, and it worked, and it was great. And that's what they did forever, where they were just, oh, this is a popular game, we're going to take that best mechanic from the game and put it in our game now, and now it's even better.
The only game they never managed to copy anything successfully from was Star Wars Galaxies, and then Galaxies shot itself in the foot by making itself into a WoW clone.
Yeah, literally. And then, but the thing is, though, is I'm actually seeing this literally everywhere. I'm also seeing this among my coworkers. My company develops programs. One of the programs we use internally, and we sell it externally, and I have a lot of complaints about it. I've complained to my manager a bunch about it, and one of the things was that I found out is the lead programmer behind this project, the guy who was literally there from day one and contributed a massive amount of code to it, left because the company refused to pay him more. And not just, oh, well, he was asking for like a 10% raise and that was ridiculous. A competing company paid him a 70% raise to come work for them instead.
Wow.
And he refused the initial offer and turned back to the company that he had worked for the past 15 years and said, please match half and I'll stay. And they said no.
Well, you know what? If you don't want to match half, too bad.
So he got a 70% increase in raise, and what ended up happening is this program, the development on it, stopped. I don't mean stopped in the literal sense. I mean stopped in the useful sense.
Yeah.
We've had a shit ton of updates since then, and not a single one of them actually had any impactful issues solved. Like, the main core issues, the worst parts of the program are still there.
Of course they are.
And they recently released a visual patch for the GUI, and the GUI is now worse.
Of course it is.
They rendered 1/3 of my screen useless because they said scrolling is so 2000s. We're in the modern day. We don't scroll anymore.
Ah, the tablet interface, you mean?
Effectively, yeah. Like 1/3 of my screen literally can't move anymore, but it's the most useless part of my GUI. The one part of the GUI that I do want to scroll and can scroll is the smallest part of my GUI now. And it's the most useful part of the GUI.
Just get an add-on to change that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's It's bad. It's terrible. I hate it. It sucks, but it is what it is. And I was talking to programmer friends of mine, and this is across the entire industry. The programmers are all the programmers are all fucking femboy computer programmers, Zoomer shits who think computers are magic and are afraid of criticism. So they never put any big effort in or make any big changes, because what if someone says it's bad? And if someone says it's bad, well, then you have to double down because they're wrong. And the fucking writers of all of these series, of all of everything ever now in modern entertainment, they're all fucking fanfiction writers. They're all fucking fanfiction writers who never got their heads out of their ass when they were writing fanfiction at the age of 12, and everyone always told them they were great and amazing, and no one ever told them that maybe they should put the period at the end of the sentence and not halfway through the second one.
I feel like some of your venom coming from the show itself is seeping into this.
No, it's not. It's because since this show has started, I was saying since day one that we were going to see the fan fiction shit I was screeching about in year one. It was going to seep into modern media, and it was going to ruin everything. And look where we are now.
If only they had hired decent writers instead.
I hate that you're right.
I'm getting dinner. I'm depressed.
So anyway, that's enough for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, come back on Friday, because I'm going to have a goddamn rocket fuel of a drink, and we're going to have Australians, and, you know, we're going to read Warcraft stories about through fire and fell ice. Yeah, that's right. We ain't original in this house. We're just gonna rip off other series and do it worse.
I mean, hey, that's what Warcraft did.
You mean do it better?
Imagine unironically after, 10 years having worse writers than Warhammer. Imagine.
Yeah. Anyway, come back Friday, because there's always more, and it always gets worse.